Hello, I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thanks for tuning in for our weekly Sunday sunset chat. We've got another humid week ahead with an increase in daily rain chances, which is be awesome for some much needed rain, but also after a break on Tuesday from the heat, we kind of crank it up a notch and get maybe some heat advisory level heat index values by the end of this week. So prepare for summer's return. It is going to feel hot, humid with daily rain chances. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thanks so much for tuning in on our weekly 20-minute Sunday sunset chat on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X. Julia and Ron, good to see you on YouTube. And Anne and Nancy and Jordan and McNulty on Instagram. Yes, plants need rain. We'll talk about the droughts and what rain amounts we might be able to squeeze out of the atmosphere this week. Good to see you very much. We're all very warm, aren't we? And David, good to see you on Facebook. And we've got Cody joining on Instagram and Turbo. And let me know if any of you have any questions or comments. The animation of the temperatures this week kind of cranking up slowly but surely, with a little exception, a little trough, maybe not hitting 90 degrees on Tuesday. So that could be some good news if you're not into the summer heat. But we've got precipitation chances starting to crank up a little bit this week. A few shower storms may be possible tomorrow. Better chances on Tuesday. That actually could be the best chance until Friday for some showers and storms. Clouds are also in the picture, especially on Tuesday, which helps hold our temperatures back. Maybe not even hitting 90 degrees on Tuesday is pretty darn good in my book. I would love to have a day off from 90 degrees or hotter. 7-day rain amounts are okay. I don't like seeing the kind of geographical copycatting of like drought begets drought, right? Where the driest areas of the region are in like northwestern Virginia with the strongest drought areas. So that's where we are expecting the least amount of rain this week. We really need it there in the higher elevations of our region to the west of DC. Along I-81 corridor, Shenandoah Valley, there has been a little bit of improvement along and east of I-95. So it's not all bad news, but it's kind of intensified and focused on the higher elevations of our region. And that's why we really wish we could see a little bit more in the way of rain this week. There's a little bit of a hole, and dry soils don't have much rain or water content to evaporate and turn back into rain. So it is a little bit of a negative feedback cycle loop in the higher elevations of our region. So a little bit is better than nothing, that is for sure, but we'll need to keep a watch on the drought situation, especially I think West Virginia, a few counties have been declared disaster areas, and we have water restrictions in Western Virginia as well. So we'll keep an eye on that this week. Drought is near the top of our mind. We could see some downpours, and flooding risk is low because the soil is ready to absorb a lot of this water, but yes, a couple intense storms are possible through the middle part of this week, maybe waiting until Friday until we see maybe a cluster, several strong, more intense storms are possible by Friday. But nothing high likelihood this week. I don't see the need for any major plans to be changed or planned around for severe weather this week, but just keep it on the back burner, back of your minds, that we could see some strong storms. And we'll, of course, watch the details as we get toward the higher chances, slightly relatively higher chances, but still modest by the end of this week. So stay tuned to CapitalWeatherGang.com. We're there for you 24/7. This is the live weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com, going over all the details for the weather in the week ahead. And that includes humidity, which is not going to be comfortable. It's a little bit tolerable tomorrow, so we kind of are eased into our new humid range this week. But I think by Tuesday onward, we're kind of in the muggy, gross 70 to 75 degree range. Happy Sunday, Kristen. Good to see you. Good evening, Paul and David. Let's get going on the rain. Yes, indeed. Good evening, Peter and Beth. I would water your garden, especially if you're along the I-81 corridor this week. But yeah, I'm glad you are appreciating the slightly cooler temperatures for Tuesday. We do get a 1-day break, it looks like. David, I don't know if it's a full rain hole, but let's call it a drought. A drought hole. Drought begets drought in the higher elevations of our region. And Tom, let's talk about tropics while I've got you here. That's a great question. They are getting active. It looks like through middle of March. That is something we're going to be watching for you. And I'll go ahead and put our PM update here at the top and the forecast at a glance. So that's my PM update at the top and forecast at a glance more locally. But yes, tropics are getting active. southeastern coast in the next 7 days. Probably needs to start through at least middle of August, being a little more cognizant, a little more tropical aware as we get into deeper into hurricane season, typically peaking around September 10th, September 11th. So we have plenty of time ahead, unfortunately, for more tropical systems to develop in the main development zone and into the Caribbean. So this track, this development area, that's going to be kind of the focal point from now until at least the middle part of August, it looks like. David, no organized severe weather expected at this time, but by Friday we want to kind of keep it on the back of our mind. So let's show you that again. Let me turn off the tropical Atlantic there and give you a decent animation of severe weather chances this week. Very approximate, very low confidence. Maybe a strong storm Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, maybe a couple, two or three strong storms. Friday has a decent signal for some stronger, more intense storms. So we'll keep you posted. This is going to be kind of, I think, playing day by day to see if we get enough sun, enough instability each day. We're going to be monitoring it constantly at capitalweatherking.com. Our severe weather expert, Jeff Halverson, never sleeps during the summer, but we have plenty of humidity, moisture, instability in the atmosphere. So it's worth watching, but you'll notice it's not a high probability. Nothing expected widespread or major clusters of severe weather this week. Feeble and Mostly and Red Hot, thanks for joining. And Sono on Instagram. Jose and hey, Missy, appreciate seeing you. Winston, yes, Winston on Instagram, indeed. Nice weekend we just had. I hope you got out and enjoyed it. And H squared mom, you're most welcome. I'm sorry it's going to get, you're most welcome for the forecast. Sorry, it's going to get a little bit gross this week. So let me put on the dew point scale this week, 70 to 75 dew points, I think by Tuesday onward into the rest of this week. So not going to feel too comfortable. Maybe we'll ease into it tomorrow with some 60s dew points. But yes, it's going to take a little while. But good to see you, H squared from Alexandria. Thanks so much. And Skywalker, Beth, hopefully I'm answering your question that we do have increasing humidity this week. It could be muggy or gross from Tuesday onward into the rest of the week. Daily rain chances and swamp bubble. I like one of these comments here on Instagram as well. Tanya, good to see you. Alyssa, Bay Street, Z Miller, and RL, and Lath, and Amy, and Sono. Really good seeing all of you. And let's see. So we talked about the tropics, Tom, and happy Sunday from Culpeper, Steve. Good to see you. I'm glad you enjoyed the lower humidity. And we've got Patty tuning in from Facebook. Good to see you. And Henry, Thursday afternoon travel plans out of DCA, not worth planning around. Low confidence. I honestly, the signal on Thursday looks like it might be one of our lower storm chance days. So keep the flight as it is on Thursday, as far as I can tell at this point. Michael, let's see. Rain keeps missing us. It is very hit or miss rains. Let's look at that for this week. The 7 day rain amounts are, decent, but I wish we could get more over the drought stricken areas and the higher elevations of our region. But a little bit is better than nothing. So we'll take it. But along and east of I-95 has seen some improvement this week. But we need to see much more improvement focused on the upper I-81 corridor there in northwestern Virginia. David, indeed, could get muggy and gross later this week. Donna, good seeing you from Iowa. And Liz, hello, hope you're doing well. And Michael, indeed, hit or miss rains are the main source of our rain this time of year in the warm season. It's unfortunate we can't get like a nice steady shield of rain from a nor'easter like we do in the cooler parts of the year. All right, we've got Life of Katia Becca on Instagram. Wednesday doesn't look like a washout, doctor, but there's a moderate chance for showers and storms, I would say now. We'll keep you posted on those finer details as we get closer. Ace and Esmer, thanks for tuning in. Uh, McNulty, if you're going outside for tennis, try and aim for Thursday this week, and tomorrow is also okay in my book. I think the days to avoid are Tuesday and Friday for the slightly elevated shower and storm chances this week. All right, I think I've caught up on everything on Instagram. We've got Michael on Facebook. You're most welcome. And wow, Nashiri, I need to get my, let's see. All right, I need to get my French up to date. I don't, apologize for not knowing your French. And David, La Nina is indeed slowly, I think, starting to take effect in the tropical Pacific. All right, so we've talked about droughts, the kind of slightly Elevated severe storm chances by the end of this week. One or two intense storms is possible Tuesday onward. But the good news is no widespread, nothing worth planning around this week. But we'll keep a little bit eye on Friday. The signal might focus on Friday with maybe a few or several stronger storms. But still not sure that we'll see a severe weather watch issued. All right, let me show you the temperatures this week. The animation below kind of shows how we're eased into some of the heat and humidity this week. Like tomorrow, it's going to feel more humid, but not terrible. We're still pretty hot. Low to mid 90s are possible in some of the region. We get a 1 day break on Tuesday, and then we ramp back up in the heat Thursday into kind of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I think Friday, the highest heat index value that I could find, if I can pull it up right here, we might feel like around 105 on Friday. When you combine the air temperature with the high humidity, the lack of ability for our bodies to cool ourselves with sweat evaporating from our skin due to the high humidity combined with the high temperatures, it could be a heat advisory on Friday, so we'll keep you posted on that. So far, it looks like it should fall shy of true dangerous levels, but worth moderate caution, I think. Moderate caution by the time we get to Friday. All right, let me show you the precipitation animation for this week. Hit or miss showers and storms, even if we wanted a solid soaking rain, we're not going to get it this time of year. It's just our main source of rain is from showers peppering the region and thunderstorms and clouds. I think our cloudiest day is on Tuesday, but generally it's a fairly bright week overall. And 7 day rain amounts are modest. We'll take it, but I wish we could focus a little bit more. That darker blue, unfortunately, with lesser rain amounts, focuses on the upper 81 corridor where we could use the rain the most. We still have D3 extreme droughts that is expected to persist, although maybe slowly improve in the next 1 to 3 months, hopefully sooner. But the forecast is not overly optimistic that the drought goes away anytime soon. And then small peppering of severe storm chances here and there, maybe one on Tuesday, two on Wednesday, a few Thursday, maybe Friday we could have a few to several, but nothing widespread. Even a severe thunderstorm watch doesn't look probable this week, but it is the time of year, high mid-summer time, high humidity, high moisture content, some instability hanging out in the atmosphere this week. So don't be surprised if we do have some quickly, turning briefly intense storms this week. We've got plenty of atmospheric moisture around the dew points. We'll be getting uncomfortable by Tuesday, muggy and gross perhaps, in the 70 to 75 degree dew point range for much of this week. That pushes again. The heat index value might be as hot as 105 by the time we get to Friday, and maybe over 100 for Wednesday and Thursday as well. So we need to watch this. The heat does kind of crank up a notch for later this week. Next week, if you're curious about the look ahead, temperatures kind of leaning above average, precipitation ever so slightly leaning above average for next work week. And with the temperatures, forecast to be above average, yeah, we could add more to our heat tracker this week and next week as well, perhaps. So we're not at all through with our 90-degree day or hotter, 90 degrees or hotter days counting down on our heat tracker at capitalweathergain.com. Not done for the year just yet. Smoke and pollen, just otherwise covering that we could see some haze from some smoke from the Canadian wildfires this week. Air quality should stay in the yellow moderate range. We could at times smell a little bit of the wildfire smoke at the ground level, at the surface. But things are generally okay in the pollen and smoke department, but just, wanted to keep that in the background for you. And I know you've been eager to talk about the fall the last couple weeks. Very low confidence outlook forecast from NOAA at this point, but maybe an ever so slight lean for above average precipitation for September, October, November. That's meteorological, atmospheric fall and autumn. And there's still a slight lean for above average temperatures as well. All right. We'll, of course, keep you posted closer to Labor Day at capitalweathergang.com with a little bit better, attention to detail on what that might mean for September, October, and November. All right, I'm Camden Walker for capitalweathergang.com on the air another 5 minutes or so. PM update is at the top that I put out at capitalweathergang.com. We're there 24/7 here on the blog. This is our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And I've got an animation below of the temperatures this week. We do start hot and a little bit humid tomorrow, taking maybe a 1 day break from the heat, not from the humidity, on Tuesday. And then we kind of crank it up a notch with heat and humidity Wednesday through the end of this week. it's going to get uncomfortable. So prepare for summer's return for sure. Chase, no indication of a snowy winter either way just yet. And indeed, David, time is flying by on our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. And bonjour to Nasiri and Ruth Elisa. Yep, here comes the heat. I hope you enjoyed, Ruth Elisa, the break we had this weekend from humidity and some of the heat. Good to see you, though, on Facebook. Liz, Ruth Elisa, July is technically our hottest month, but in August, Liz, the dew points still hang on to muggy, gross territory. So let's talk about the humidity this week, which is July and August like in many respects. We've got an animation of dew points, the most uncomfortable of which are in the purples above me, a 70 or higher. And so Tuesday onward, we have better chances of being muggy and gross in the 70 to 75 degree dew point level on our, our dew point humidity discomfort scale from the WashingtonPost.com. And Axe, good to see you on X. Really appreciate it. And Lewis, I'm glad you got your air conditioner working. Really good timing. So, if Axe, if you need to do golf this week, maybe aim for Thursday. That could be our lowest rain chances. Followed by, I think, tomorrow is a decent day for golf. But do remember, when thunder roars, head indoors. Stray storms are possible even tomorrow as well. Michael, you're most welcome. Good to see you as well. And Signo and Nicholas and Margot, good to see you on Instagram. And Gridlock and Samantha. And let's see, we got Western the Cat. Um, so I want to talk about tropics. I see Western is concerned about that tropical outlook that we talked about here from the National Hurricane Center. And yes, the next 7 days we have a moderate chance of seeing perhaps something develop in the main development region, the Central Atlantic. It could move toward the Caribbean, the Northern Lesser Antilles, and toward Hispaniola and Cuba and into Florida. But this is over the next 7 days. We have plenty of time to watch. I would not, at this point, Western make any plans because honestly, weather models do better once a tropical storm has fully formed and been named with winds over 39 miles per hour. So I would advise just keeping this in the back of your mind. Maybe formulate a plan B. I think this is one of those things where even if you don't want to, I don't advise taking action now. This doesn't seem like something to plan around just yet, but I would advise using this information for a plan B to keep in the back of your mind. HL, good to see you on Facebook, and Liz, you're most welcome. Ready for fall here as well. Good to see you. All right, let's see. Uh, we've got really good updates on Twitter and X. I'm glad that you follow us there as well, Laura and Cuban and Lilibet. Good to see you on Instagram. All right, we're also on Facebook, X, and YouTube. I'm Camden Walker for CaptainWeatherKing.com. Another couple of minutes. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Let's go through everything one more time for the week ahead. We've got, let's see, let me pull it down the tropical update for you. Let's look at pollen really quick, which is generally behaving. The data is a little bit old with some of the rain we've had recently, but mold, mildew, the spores are the main issue, the main allergen for fellow allergy sufferers. PM update is here at the top. And just below that, here's the graphical update just above my hat and animation below here of temperatures this week, starting out pretty hot tomorrow. Low, even some mid 90s are possible. Humidity luckily starts moderate. It's on a moderate scale tomorrow. It's back. It's back tomorrow. And temperatures kind of take a 1 day break from the heat on Tuesday, a little dip here on Tuesday. But heat and humidity is back on Tuesday for sure. I think we'll be pretty uncomfortable for the rest of the week. And then we add in heat by Wednesday into the rest of the week. Heat index values we'll go into in a second could be around 105 with the heat advisory, I think, possible on Friday. And let me show you the precipitation pattern this week. It's hit or miss. Unfortunately, clouds are hit or miss. It's brighter than not. Tuesday looks to be our most cloudy day, I think, this week. Holding temperatures back, I think, below 90 degrees. It would be cool to get a break from 90-degree weather. But this kind of hit or miss rain pattern this week, right? It adds up to a little bit more along and east of I-95 and even southern parts of our region and parts of West Virginia. But of course, where we need it the most, the drought area and the higher elevations west of DC is in D3 extreme drought there in the dark red. So we don't unfortunately focus the rains as much as I think any of us would like in the drought area. Drought begets drought. There's kind of a negative feedback cycle there since soil moisture is low. And so the water cycle requires evaporation from soil water to turn back into rain. So the lack of it turns into a lack of rain, and that's how the negative drought begets drought feedback cycle gets going. Severe weather is pretty limited this week. We have pretty low chances. That's kind of the headline right there. But there is a signal that, even a strong storm is possible quickly, briefly on Tuesday, maybe a couple, few Wednesday, Thursday. Friday has a signal for maybe a few or several. I still don't even think a severe thunderstorm watch is going to be issued, but it's worth watching these signals the night before, the morning of, to see if ingredients come together, if instability really can come together. So we'll always keep you posted with the best, latest detailed information at capitalweathergang.com as we get closer. Just keep it in the back of your mind for this week. And of course, humidity is back moderately tomorrow, more in force on Tuesday into the rest of this week. Dew points 70 to 75 are muggy and gross. And combining high air temperatures on Friday with the high humidity, heat index values, the hottest I could find so far is around 105. Let's hope it stays no hotter than 105 degrees on Friday. So keep that in mind. It is going to turn mighty warm. And it looks like it's leaning warm again next week. Slight chance for above average temperatures, ever so slight chance for above average precipitation. And I think our heat tracker keeps counting upwards toward 40 over the next 10 days or so. We're not done with 90-degree or hotter days just yet. Smoke is not a major story, but it produces some haze. Allergens are basically under control unless you're very sensitive to mold or mildew here in this category. The spores are pretty active right now. And again, we talked about the awakening of the tropical Atlantic. We'll be keeping you posted on uh, this week and into mid-August. It looks like we have kind of a notch upward in activity in the tropical Atlantic and into the Caribbean, as we kind of expected. So over the next 7 days, just keep in the back of your mind along the southeastern coast, we'll need to watch things as we get closer. All right, let me sign off. I'm over my time. I appreciate seeing you. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. PM update, forecast at a glance, temperature animation below. Anytime you need us, we're at CapitalWeatherGang.com. Alexandra, SM, and Blueberries, awesome. I'm glad that you can do that, Girls World, on Instagram. And Caitlin, our good heart, and Thomas, and Miss Shondo, Theo, playing tennis. Maybe Monday and Thursday are the best days, relatively speaking, to be those types of outdoor plans this week. All right, cantaloupes, Rick. I hope you can get some good cantaloupes. CRG on X, you're most welcome. And Donna, you hang in there in Iowa with the storms. And David, good to see you. And HL, good to see you. All right, David, it would be nice if we can get a non-severe tropical system just to give us some rain without much wind later this summer. That would really help our droughts. It's very tricky, though, threading that needle. All right, everyone, I will see you next Sunday for a weekly Sunday Sunset Chat then. Stay cool this week and try and